Netflix. Why do you keep doing this to your paid subscribers? Why? Hi guys, this is Farhad and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. If you're new to this channel, then please smash that subscribe button now. And as a video ritual, remember to like and comment on the video. Liking and commenting helps fuel the YouTube algorithm. And today, the film that we are going to be discussing, you can see the grimace on my face. The film that we are going to be discussing is the new Tamil Netflix film called Test. And it had such a stellar star cast. It had Madhavan, it had Siddharth, it had Nayanthara. But this is what you actually are serving, Netflix. I mean, come on. It's kind of, ridiculously bad. Such a bad film, which actually did not really make sense even with the cricketing part of it. And oh my god, it was a pain, to go beyond 15 minutes in this film, and I'll tell you exactly why. So coming to the story and screenplay, if you still are interested, it's a 3-character story between, Nayanthara, who plays Kumuda. She doesn't have a child and she is 34 years of age and she wants to undergo IVF, which the doctors tell her is the final try that she can have. Madhavan plays a husband. His character's name is Sara or Saravanan and Sarvanan, I should say. And he is an MIT scientist, but has a canteen of his own that is almost like he's taken a loan for it. It's just not connecting, but he's taking a loan for it, and he's neck deep in debt, you can say. On the other hand, Siddharth, who plays Arjun, is a cricketer, and his character has to be the most ridiculous character because you actually are told that he's on the fag end of his career. He's been a superstar in Indian cricket. So far so good, okay, but listen to this, hear this thing out. His test average as it stands is 61 point something, and he hasn't scored runs for the last 3 years. What do you mean? Is he Bradman? Was he Bradman before 3 years? I mean, it's kind of, ridiculous that I was actually watching this nonsense, and the nonsense actually hit the peak when in a scene you see Siddharth, the character of Siddharth, comparing himself to a soldier of all people and saying that, cricketers are like soldiers. It kind of reminded me of an ex-cricketer who also happens to be our coach, but that's for another day. It's kind of, ridiculous. Some semblance at the start, you can see that there is some story somewhere, but it all gets lost after a point because, there is no common ground between these, two worlds, the worlds of Nayanthara and Madhavan and Siddharth. Siddharth is, the quintessential cricketer who's also, allowed, to spend time at his home and not practice days before a test. Leave that aside, During a test match, he's asked to, go home, and you can come, from his home to the ground directly, just pad up and, walk in like a 9-to-5 job, so to say. Oh my god. The entire drama, by the way, takes place against the background of a test cricket match that is going on at the Chepauk. Hear this thing out as well. It is between India and Pakistan. I'll let that sink in. Nothing wrong in that. The only thing wrong, and I would always want, test cricket to continue between the two nations. I think it's just a game. Many test fanatics like me would also agree to this, but there's no context on the year in the story, and the last time India and Pakistan played a test match of any form was in 2007. I don't know what the makers were thinking. India versus Pakistan at the Chepauk. Come on, you can do better, yeah. So coming back to the plot, the two worlds, there's no common ground, which is why it just feels like a mismatch of everything. The manipulation that happens, which actually should have been a story about, the system that, the character of Madhavan has to fight to earn the project and the respect of his wife. I think that should have been the main plot point. There's a hint that is given about match fixing before the two worlds just collide in the most inorganic manner possible. I mean, it was almost laughable after a point as to how a character can suddenly switch into an evil, sinister kind of a guy without any reference to what he was before that. I mean, at a point, the character of Madhavan, spoilers, was actually, okay with Nayanthara getting to spend some time with Arjun, who happened to be her ex-boyfriend at some point of time. He was absolutely fine with that, fact. But, at a later point, he starts blackmailing, the character of Arjun with a match-fixing scandal by kidnapping his son. It's not even a kidnapping case, but they just lured the son of Arjun in, and they just took it like a kidnapping. I mean, it's such a weird plot point that it actually made me laugh. It made me gawk, if I can say so. And on the other hand, Arjun is batting for his career because all he does is neglect his wife and child. And he's almost going to be thrown out of a team. There's a rumor saying that this will be his last test match. A lot of khichdi that is going on in the film that actually has no semblance to the main plot as well. There was some story I can make out, but it was so poorly done. It was so hilarious. Now listen to this as well, the cricketing aspect, because everything else is vanilla. It's convenient writing to the T. But listen to the cricketing parts that have been written here and see how ridiculous they are. Anyone who watches cricket, like I do, and most of y'all, if they do, would understand that makers just do not understand the game of cricket, or they've not watched enough cricket in their lives to actually write the part of it and showcase the part of that. The match is played at Chepauk. Okay, and you actually see it's a test match, by the way. Okay, it's a 5-day test match that is there. Firstly, between India and Pakistan, ridiculous number one. Ridiculous number two, you see batsmen literally slogging in a test match. You see them slogging in a test match. It was like, who even has made you all even a test cricketer? I mean, you can at least take people who know how to play test cricket, right? I mean, it's like ridiculous. You're literally slogging across the line in a test match. Imagine in another scene you see a team literally celebrating after conceding a lead. They're celebrating a century of a player but they don't care about the lead. They conceded a lead at the end of the day. It was tantalizingly poised, the test match, but nothing of that really transpires. And there is no sign of a spinner in this test match. There's only fast bowling that happens until the fag end of the test match, in which Arjun hits the winning runs via reverse sweep in a test match. I've had enough. And I'm okay, you can say I'm a purist of the game and I don't mind my share of T20 as well. But you need to be vigilant with writing the plot points of cricket, right? I mean, if it was just a passing subplot, I wouldn't have, said anything, but this was an integral part of the film. The movie's name is Test. You cannot just have any nonsense, writing in the part of it, which brings me to the final act, which got so hilarious. I mean, there was this one thing that happens, like a simultaneously split cut that happens between a match that is going on and something that is going on elsewhere. And that something that is going on elsewhere is so ridiculous. It came out of nowhere. There was no justification provided for it, because immediately before that there was an emotional scene that sort of reconciled things, but it wasn't to be. And the ending was just hilarious. I mean, why do you do this, Netflix? How do you even approve this kind of films? I mean, it's I have nothing to say. That's the screenplay, which is so bad. Now, coming to the technical aspects, if it matters, the dialogues, the music, and the direction. The dialogues are, well, they're just meh. It's just conversational, but no weightage, nothing, no emotional connect. It just doesn't make any sense after a point. The music is, well, forgettable. Okay in the proceedings, but nothing great. BGM is very generic for anything of that sort. Cinematography surprisingly is good. So the portions of the cricket are shot well, but they are not written well. That is the problem. It's not written well, but it's shot well. And I think that is such a sad part, because this could have then been a thrilling ride if it was written well, at least with all the emotions in play, with all the editing in place. I think the editing was quite choppy with the sporting drama as well. It just felt inorganic with the plot points that were just tied up at the end. The end was so underwhelming as well. Director S. Shashikant, I think he misses the mark by a country mile. I think neither does he, stir up any emotions. And the worst part was, I think, the cricketing portions, which actually irritated me to a point that it became unintentionally funny after a point, and that was kind of, ridiculous. I was, at least it was ridiculous. I was kind of laughing to that, but it wasn't, much of a thing to write home about. Nothing to write home about. It was very vanilla, so to say. Oh my god, it was quite a task sitting through this film. Coming to the performance, I think the performances are also a mixed bag. Nothing much to shout about. Siddharth absolutely looked disinterested in this role. I think he seldom even smiled in the film, had this one stoic expression, just looked so uninterested, and it kind of was one of those performances that just came and went. Nayanthara was decent, I would say, but the way her character was written, after being an accomplice at one point, you actually turn the table at the end in a way that no logical gods would actually forgive you for it. It was kind of ridiculous. On a scale of morality, you would say, okay, it's a moral scale, but it didn't add up to the morality, right? It was not as if that's the first thing that she did, and it kind of, disrupted the entire film to another level. Madhavan, I think he was the only one who looked sinister, did a good job. I think Maddie did a pretty good job in the film. But, I mean, it came in a film that was absolutely ridiculously bad at the end of the day, and it was unintentionally funny. I mean, just to sum it up, Test is that one film that is so bad that none of the cricketing gods also can save it. I mean, it literally tested my patience, and it was unintentionally funny as well. I'm actually laughing at my state on how I survived the film, while, watching the whole film. I mean, the kind of logic that they give, with the character of Arjun having an average of 61. So, and he's not scored any runs or any hundreds in the last 3 years, which meant, and still they want him dropped, by the way. I can understand, okay, if you see he's not scored any hundreds, but he scored 50s, and, you can still maintain your average of 61, that is there. But they wanted him to get dropped because of that. Oh my god. It was just bad. Okay, let's wrap up this video. It was just hilarious. I mean, I just thought I'll just share my quick thoughts on it. Test is avoidable, but if you watched it and if you've liked it, well, let me know. If you've not liked it, also let me know your thoughts. You can chime in your thoughts in the comments. You can also leave a like, if you're liking this video. You can read my detailed review of Test on my site, Popcorn Reviews with a double S, the link of which is in the description box below. You can remember, you can read the review in your language, language of your choice. You can also, follow me in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. I do not end up making a video on everything that I watch, but I do write a lot. All information is present on my site and on my social media handles. All of it is in the description box below. I'll see you again soon with another video. But then if you enjoyed this video, then let me know. I mean, it's kind of one of those films that there was no way I could have, given anything positive about the film, and I think that was the sad part about it. That it didn't work for me, but if it worked for you, I promise I won't judge you. You can chime in your thoughts as well in the comments, and I'll see you again soon with another video. Till then, take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for your love and support. Cheers.